Boy, oh boy. Good morning, everybody. Jack Leeson with StartupTraining.com. It is March 11th here, 9:10 in the morning. And title the title of the video is Massive Traditional Completes its negative 61. So I'm referring to the NASDAQ. And that's where we got our bounce yesterday over, or I should say, yeah, I guess yesterday overnight down here. And that's going to be my discount level for the day. But I want to talk about what that is. On Friday, I knew when we held that traditional, if you guys remember, that was my premium level up there, this 20,245. And really, the fact that we rejected it Friday was not looking good come Monday. And with that gap down, I figured we'd get a runner. And sometimes those markets are hard. That sell-off that begins right at the open can be hard for me to trade. I mean, there of course there's entries in every market, but we were so far away from that 50% retracement. The one thing to look for when we get these massive gap downs is if we open below that 78% of the previous day's range, which is like we're basically losing that first half an hour. So that 78 yesterday would have been here at 19,872. You can see we lost it and popped back up, acted as resistance, and then we were just destroyed all day long with a end of day short covering rally that lasted one time cycle 25 minutes and then of course faded into a traditional short immediately. So we ended yesterday still in traditional shorts, and we did one more push lower, run any stops left if there's anybody even long with a stop that isn't on a higher time frame. But we came all the way down to that negative 61, and we put a hell of a bounce in. And this was really technical that last night. The chat room got a little vocal when this happened. I had mentioned, and I saw we had traded this. It was an exhaustion. It was an ATR down 109 points at almost 9 o'clock Eastern into a negative 61. Next 5-minute bounce, still in a downtrend, and then here, we have an inverse single print higher halfway back long, and into an extension, and then I'm not sure if we traded the same anchor new high from that extension. Yeah, it looks like we did here at around the European sessions open, push that up higher, completed targets, and I am not going to trade the same anchor new high, but that same anchor new high would be at the midpoint or at the lower mid. So if there is gonna, it actually be at the lower mid and right around the gap fill. We're almost unchanged after all of this volatility, but that profit target, and that's what you're going to see in downside markets. You're going to see short covering rallies off targets, especially ones that are that extended. But the best thing to really do is wait for confirmation. I bid that negative 61 because it was such an extreme candle at a time of day, and we had already taken out lows, so stops have already been hit and that we were gunning towards. But as we move forward, that traditional completes, it just gives us another one, and really until that breaks on the higher time frame, nothing's changed. We're still going to be in a downtrend below this 61.8. So I'm using Friday's high, too low, and I think there was a couple people talking about this extension potentially trading. Now this extension did trade yesterday. And that can be something you maybe look for a break during the regular trading hours session here today. If we do break this off the open, so getting back above 19,583, if we do break that, you could argue that that's a traditional break, and there might be a 78 fade. I don't know if I'd go traditional break right into the next halfway back long because it's been so aggressive. But if we break this extension, from Friday's low to high, I'm losing my tongue twist. From Friday's low to low, if we break above that during the regular trading hours session, I would look for a 78 fade to the long side. That will be one of my potential trade setups. Otherwise, at this point in time, I'm really just interested in, and I've been doing these premium discount levels, and I really want to just focus my trades around this, which turns my trade frequency really, really low. But those low trade frequencies, all last week, I think, doing some over trading, which can happen in these large moves for me at least. But then still, my morning analysis with my discount premium levels was being spot on. So yesterday we were far away from either of them, and that's why I didn't trade until we got to one of them, which was this negative 61, and paid myself handsomely with just one simple trade for like 270 points in about, I don't know, an hour and a half or something. But so today, those levels I'm looking at, that next traditional above us, 19,714s, and right now the discount maybe retested the overnight low. And then we have the levels that could develop. They haven't developed yet. And if they do, I'll mention them. It'll probably take some time. But right now, I'm really just going to focus on those two setups. And then as far as like where we could go on higher time frames, Perry actually brought this up to me, I think, like a week or two ago, it might have been, but it's the extension from the highs of 2021. We're already in it. I don't know if it ends up holding, but if it doesn't, really the next thing I would have below is this extension out of 2023. Or, there's always other variations on these higher time frames, but this extension out of 2023 that traded in 2023 off its 50, you could argue it traded its 38 and never completed here, but that same anchor new high, that 38% retracement, and all of this needs to confirm. We could eventually trade the 50. I would think that 19,000 or 17,700, just looking at this chart would be a really important level if we get to it. But the 38 is going to be around 18,820 area. So basically could trade next week at this point. But yeah, that's what I have here in this index here today. So I'm going to leave these draws as is. I'll share them with you, and we'll move on to the S&P. Now the S&P, if we're going to get a divergence here today where one of the markets makes a new low and the other one doesn't, I think it would come from the S&P. The S&P did not complete the negative 61 from Friday. So what I have that level as, that level is going to be down here at 55.47, 55.47, 55.48, and it would be through the overnight low. Now yesterday there was a different negative 61, and that was, look how big this traditional, we were talking about it last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, 58.70 was the entry, 56.85 was the negative 23. We went all the way to the negative 61. That's where our short covering rally came from yesterday in the ES, and I would expect that to be potential support here again today. So you could watch for that 55.88 as potential support, but if we do get a push lower in the ES and not the NQ, and the ES completes this extension and the NASDAQ does not get a new low, that would be a recipe for a very large short covering rally, once confirmed with some price action. So just be aware of that. As far as the premium level goes, and I'm going to be looking for here today, same setup in the NQ as we are looking for in the ES. We're going to be looking for that next traditional. It is going to be a 56.74. Now the midpoint of the prior day is going to be before that. But this 56.74, I think it'd be very hard to get above it with our current price action. But I think after yesterday's collapse, I don't believe we're going to close below yesterday's low right now. I do think we'll be able to. That doesn't mean I don't think we can trade below it, but I don't think we're going to close below the low. So with that being said, we could be in a very big two-way range here today. While the market digests the collapse we saw on the prior day, which was, I'm not even sure if that was the biggest sell-off yet in this whole move for one day, to be honest. I'd have to go back and look, but it sure as heck was one of the biggest ones we've had in a while. But with that being said, we've completed some pretty large targets. It's going to be, another day of a lot of volatility, and pick your spots wisely. And yeah, that'll be it. I'll share these levels with you guys in the room. Everybody trade safe. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you.